I accidentally started a neighborhood Christmas war. A few years ago, I moved into a townhouse community a couple weeks before Christmas. My mom had recently downsized to a smaller place, so she gave me a bunch of her old Christmas decorations. She used to be really into decorating, so there was a lot. When I moved into the new house, I noticed that my next door neighbor had a smaller version of this big inflatable reindeer that was in the box of stuff I got from my mom. It looked like my neighbor's was an older model because it was kind of dingy and about 2 feet shorter. I didn't think much of it, and after I was moved in, I set up a few decorations in my yard, including a wreath, some candles in the window, and my version of the inflatable reindeer. I went off to work, and when I got home, I saw that my next door neighbor had a new, bigger reindeer next to his old one. This one was about 4 feet bigger than the one he'd had up there before, so bigger than mine. I thought it was probably a coincidence, because who would go right out and buy a bigger reindeer because they were, jealous? Threatened? Most of our neighbors hadn't decorated for Christmas at all, so his display was still one of the bigger ones in the community even before the upgrade. I told my sister about it and she laughed and said I absolutely had to buy an even bigger reindeer and see what he did. And honestly, I just couldn't resist. I went online and found a huge one, which let me tell you was not that easy. We were really pushing maximum reindeer size potential at this point and had it shipped to me. The thing was big, 10 feet tall if it was an inch. So it came, I set it up, I went to work, and sadly, my next door neighbor had not already gotten a larger one. But lo and behold, a few houses down there was suddenly a whole setup with Santa and a sleigh and a bunch of flashing lights that had not been there before. So I was like, hey, I'm an inspiration, love to see it, and that was it for that first year. I was not planning to keep setting up that huge reindeer year after year because, frankly, it's ridiculous, so I just tucked it away in the basement after the season and forgot about it. But when the next Christmas rolled around, oh my god. The original neighbor had clearly been slowly building an army of Christmas inflatables throughout the year because the second Thanksgiving was over. His yard was covered. Elves, snowmen, nutcrackers, anything you can imagine. The other neighbor immediately retaliated with this crazy snow globe. And then across the street, someone started projecting fake snow onto the front of their house. So I couldn't resist and found an enormous inflatable menorah and put that sucker up right in my front yard. I'm not even Jewish. Just wanted to see what happened. 2 days later, my next door neighbor has a dreidel. I got a Santa thing to stick in my chimney. By the end of the week, 3 of my neighbors have Santas in their chimneys, and the next door neighbor has 2 crammed in there like they were trapped during some horrific, unspeakable Santa act. The decorating for this year has started and things are already escalating. I'm spending so much money on hideous inflatables and it's such a rush. The most hilarious part of this is that I have never spoken to any of these neighbors. We just have this silent, escalating Christmas war going on. I don't know where it's going to stop.